It's time to actually crush those 2025 writing goals. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Sutton. I'm an indie author of 11 sweet romance books. Right now, currently working on my 12th. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back to my channel. Could we just take a moment to appreciate the desk in all of its glory? Because most of it's hidden by me and my chair. You get some of the cuteness, but like those candles, I'm gonna die. I am so ready for all the Valentine's Day pink, red, sweet goodness. It's just me. If you've been here long enough, you know. Pink. Me. Pink. 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 But we're not talking about that today. Today we're talking about my 2025 writing goals and how I plan to crush them. And if they're goals you can apply, how you can crush them as well. Crush your writing goals. Crush them. Crush your writing productivity. Achieve productivity of writing stuff. If you're new here, I usually post writing vlogs. This year I'm going to be really focusing on challenges like writing 10K in a day, writing for 24 hours, outlining a new series, that sort of thing. So if you're interested in that kind of content, stick around. We'd love to have you. So yeah, without further ado, let's hop into it. As most of you may know, 2024 was the worst year for me writing-wise. 2023 and 2024, it kind of fell off the face of the earth in terms of writing. A lot of things were in play that made those 2 years absolute garbage. But I am determined, bound and determined, to not let that happen again in 2025. And I have been consuming all of these sort of like, new year, new me, how to achieve your best year, how to be your best self yet for 2025, how to glow up. I've been consuming all that content, binging it like it was a TV show. I feel more inspired than ever. So I'm going to share with you my tips, my recommendations, what I'm going to be implementing into my life going into 2025, going into January, February, these earlier months to try and establish a healthy, good mindset moving forward into the rest of the year. Did that sound like cool? I will say, this isn't like really a how-to video. Everybody's lives are different. I'm a full-time author, which means writing's my job, which means I have 40 hours a week that I should be dedicating to writing. That is not the case for a lot of people. So take what tips or like things that I'm doing that resonate with you, morph them into your own routine and schedule, but please know that your life is going to be different than my life. My life is going to be different than somebody else's life who might have more time to write. I'm single, I'm child-free, and I have no friends and no life, which means I don't have many things distracting me from productivity. Which also means 2024, 2023, what was I doing? I know what I was doing, and I was not being intentional. So let's jump into the things that I'm going to be doing in 2025. And let me know down below if any of these things are going to be things that you incorporate. First things first, I'm going to focus on progress over perfection. I find every single time that I get towards the end stages of writing a book that starting the next first draft is super hard for me because I'm so in the mindset of fine-tuning this book and making it perfect, and the phrasing has to be as beautiful as possible, that when it comes to drafting, and my first drafts are really rough, I lose steam. I get very discouraged very quickly because I am putting perfection over progress. I think that kind of led to my burnout a little bit when I published Fake Dating the Football Player all the way back in 2023, June of 2023. Because I published that book, and from that book, instead of having a first draft already in the works, I started my first draft once Fake Dating Football Player had published. So I was still in that perfectionist kind of headspace. But instead of being deliberate and like reversing out of it and being okay with writing a rough first draft, I physically would not let myself write terrible words. And guess what? My first drafts, they're terrible. So what does that mean? I didn't finish a first draft for months. For somebody who's a full-time author and is used to publishing like 3 books in a year, I worked on this first draft for 6 months before I realized I cannot do this. I have to shelve it. I worked on a draft for 6 months to ultimately not follow through with it. Now, it could have been a lot of factors. Could have been that the story just wasn't vibing with me, but it also definitely was me putting perfection over progress. And I think that's something that can be hard to swallow when you are writing something that you're not overly confident in. You kind of just have to tell yourself that you don't have to be confident in this first draft. You don't have to think this first draft is all that sunshine and rainbows. You can hate your first draft. It's okay. It's allowed. It can be bare bones, just straight dialogue, no tags. You can add brackets galore like I do and leave editor notes like, I don't feel like writing this, come back later and write it. Write it in editing. Fix this in editing. Fix this in editing. Whatever you need to do to keep moving forward, you can do. Now, I envy people who can write first drafts easy peasy, no problem. I envy people who don't second guess themselves when writing a first draft, because that's not me. But this year, especially in the drafting phase, I need to be more mindful about putting progress over perfection so I don't stall out trying to achieve something that I physically cannot. Another thing that I want to do is set realistic goals. Realistic goals are different for everybody. Realistic for me might not be realistic for you, and realistic for somebody else might not be realistic for me. But setting unrealistic goals for yourself can lead to disappointment, burnout, and like feeling very bad about yourself. And it kind of knocks down that self-esteem when it comes to writing and can set you back further. Something I noticed in 2024. So this year I want to set realistic goals. And like I said, realistic is different for everybody, but realistic goals might be write 15,000 words a week. Write 1,000 words a day, write 2,000 words a day. Goals that you can achieve and not too much of a stretch goal. A realistic goal might just be tracking what days you work and saying, I want to work on these days every single week. It doesn't have to be a word count goal. But if it is a word count goal, I'd recommend dedicating a day, a few hours to set like 25-minute sprints and see how much you get done during those 25-minute sprints. That way you kind of have an idea going into it, like how many words do I do in a normal writing session? And when you do those sprints, keep in mind, is this a good writing day for you? Are the words flowing easily? Are you on a scene that you're enjoying? Are you on a normal scene that's kind of going okay? Or are you working through a hard scene, you're having a hard day, and the words just aren't flowing? Because keeping track of what sort of scene you're working on, if it's an average scene, that's going to be best to kind of gauge your average pace. Because for me, I was in a great scene last night and I wrote 3,000 words. That is not normal for me. So to set I can write 3,000 words in a day, but basing it off of a very good day of writing, that's not going to be sustainable, and that's actually an unrealistic goal. When I don't achieve it, then I'm going to be like, wow, I'm such a failure. And I'm not a failure. That was just a really good day. The candles aren't lighting anything on fire, right? I think we're still good. What I'm also going to do and what I also recommend is to break down goals into what you feel is manageable. If you don't think a daily word count kind of works for you and you more so prefer a weekly word count, or you more so prefer not to focus on word counts at all and dedicate hours to your writing routine, that's going to be better. Whatever doesn't feel too overwhelming for you, because you want to be able to have a goal that kind of pushes you to be consistent but also doesn't feel like a massive challenge that drains you. So for me, if I were to set a 80,000 words a month sort of thing, that is crazy. I cannot do that. And trying to is just going to lead to me feeling overwhelmed and burnt out once we get later on in the month and I realize I am nowhere close to 80,000 words. So make sure you're setting realistic goals and broken down into manageable kind of like goals for you to reach. I also really want to prioritize consistency. So I used to be a very much so mood writer. I'm not in the mood to write. I'm in the mood to watch Netflix. So I'm going to watch Netflix. That was me. And that's another reason how I went 2 years writing one book. So I'm prioritizing consistency. And how I'm doing that is that I want to build habits that push me to complete my goals, which kind of means building a routine. Routines are really hard for me, to be honest. And when I lived alone, they seemed somewhat impossible. But this year, one of my 2025 goals was actually to establish a solid routine that I could go through every single day and know it's the same or know what I'm doing this day. By the middle of the year, have established it so much that it kind of just becomes second nature. And so that means building habits that kind of push me into a routine mindset, which push me towards my goals. For a non-writing example, every single morning, I make me a cup of coffee. And while that coffee is brewing, I go over and I make my bed. That is a brand new routine that I have started since moving back here. And every single day, my bed is made. When I lived in my apartment, I never made my bed. But while the coffee is brewing, instead of just sitting on my couch, scrolling on my phone, I'm going over there and I am making my bed. And then I can sip my coffee and then scroll through TikTok all I want. And then once the coffee is done, no more sitting there, I move to my desk. I'm trying to establish that path. So we're kind of already in the process. Make the bed, drink the coffee, move to the desk, and then we kind of evaluate what's going on for the day, what do I need to do for the day. I have my Sundays established perfectly for a routine. Sundays are my content creation, like I edit the captions and everything, the whole aspect of content creation. And then I also create my Instagram posts and I schedule my Instagram posts. That is the only thing that I do on Sundays. I don't do anything else. If I have my Patreon writing sprints, then I might write a little bit. My Sundays are very much so my dedicated content creation and content scheduling day, have been for a few weeks now. And It is so nice to have a day that I know I don't have to worry about content creation at all throughout the rest of the week because I am going to focus on it on Sunday. Like I said, for the past couple of weeks, I've been doing that. So for the past couple of weeks, I've been consistently posting on Instagram. So that habit of establishing that day as my content creation day is pushing me more towards my goals of growing my Instagram and being more present with my brand. I'm still kind of working out what I want my routine to look like otherwise, like if I want dedicated writing days or if I want dedicated writing hours every day. I still need to kind of sit down, plan, marinate with that. I did try an author routine. I'll have it linked down below in case anybody wants to go watch it, where I tried one whole week of doing a new author routine. It hasn't really stuck, so I think I need to try again a different routine. So we'll see. Another thing that's going to help keep me accountable in 2025 is to set my deadlines and post my deadlines. Now, I feel like I'm somebody who is very arbitrary with her deadlines. I don't usually set a date for my deadlines. I'm like, if it could get done by the end of the month, that'd be great. I wasn't firm with myself. I even had a goal to finish this current draft by the end of December. I didn't. Deadlines are really hard for me to stay accountable. So what I plan to do is to set my deadlines and post about them and post regularly. That way I have some accountability and I have a little bit of like embarrassment if I had to be like, so this didn't get done. I will say this hasn't really worked well for me in the past. Normally I just suck it up and say, yeah, I failed again. But I'm gonna be more intentional about it, okay? I do think setting deadlines and posting about the deadlines is far better than not setting any at all. Because even if you don't stick to your deadlines, you're still somewhat in the headspace of, I am going towards something. There is something that I'm going for, which is a deadline. But without a deadline at all, you are kind of stuck in like we could write today, we could hit this many word counts today, you know? So for me personally, setting deadlines is better than not setting them at all. But definitely go back to being realistic with your goals and your deadlines. Don't set a crazy deadline that you kind of really think you know you won't be able to hit, but you want to try and set it anyway. Don't do that because that goes back to disappointment, negative thoughts, burnout. We don't want that. Now this one's a big one, and I didn't realize how big of one it was until I moved back home. Create an inspiring space. I didn't believe this. I didn't believe this at all. I didn't believe this. I had a desk, this same desk, the structure, had the same desk at my old apartment, and I absolutely hated sitting at that desk to write with a passion. It was ugly. It was cluttered. If I can find clips, I'll put them in. Horrible, ugly, the worst for creativity and inspiration. And mind you, I worked at my desk sometimes when I lived here back in 2022. I had a writing shed, if anybody remembers it, and I had a desk out there, and I remember working from that desk plenty of times and enjoying it. At my apartment, I hated working at my desk. Horrible, ugly, it was uninspiring. I moved here, and I really put in the work to build an inspiring desk. And I swear, I don't even like working from my chair anymore. Like, who am I? I don't even like being in that comfy chair working. I prefer to be at my desk. Because you guys, if you forgot, look at my desk. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I will say this could use a little bit of work. The pegboard, we're still like experimenting with the pegboard. I haven't found a layout that I love yet. But like the candles, the vertical monitor, the desk mat, the pink keyboard, this cute cup thing that I need to fill with coffee. Like it's perfect. And this amazing chair that is like the best chair that I've ever owned. I'd never understood the power of a good desk chair until I got this chair. And it has a thing that kicks out for your feet so your feet can be... I need to calm down. I heavily underestimated the power of a creative space. You guys, it is a game changer. Even if it just comes down to you putting something on your desk that makes you smile every day. Like for me, my photo card. I change out my photo cards every day, so I have one on my desk every day that inspires me. Cutie Pie Lino here with his pink shirt fits the vibe perfectly. Even if it's just putting up a picture on your wall that you get to look at every day and it makes you feel inspired, it makes you smile when you see it. It doesn't have to be all this with twinkle lights and pictures and tapestries and bookshelves and candles. It doesn't have to be all that. But if it is, send me a picture I want to see. It just has to be inspiring enough to you that when you sit down, you don't feel drained, bored, looking at a space being like, oh, this is an ugly space. Because that was me. And you know what? Maybe you don't sit at a desk. Maybe you sit on a chair. Maybe it's a comfy chair. It's a recliner you sit on every single day to write. Get a new pillow. Get a new blanket that you cover up with. Something new, something fresh, something inspirational that you find that like really makes you so happy whenever you sit down. And maybe you're the kind of person who puts stickers on their laptops. Put a sticker right here so you can see it. And every time you open your laptop, it makes you smile. Whatever it is, make your space inspirational to you. I heavily underestimated it. I'll admit, I did. Maybe you do too. But oh my gosh, has this been such a game changer. I think I have written at least 30,000 words since being home. And it has been a long time since I have written that many words in that short of time span. And the last thing I have got that I am recently starting to do again is to celebrate my small wins. I recently just celebrated 50,000 words with my cousin. We went to Longhorn Steakhouse and had a very nice steak dinner right before I have to get my wisdom teeth out tomorrow. So when you're seeing this, I am 4 teeth less. But we went out and we had a nice steak dinner and it was lovely. And to know that I was celebrating my book with that dinner was so exciting. And like even at the dinner, she was like, okay, now hit your next goal so we can go out again. And that's going to look different for everybody. But for me, the goals of, oh, if I hit 5,000 words, I will give myself a piece of chocolate. That doesn't really work for me because I just have chocolate whenever I want. So it has to be something that maybe takes a little bit of effort to do. Maybe you go get your nails done when you hit a certain word count goal. Maybe you go out and buy a new sweater or hoodie when you hit a goal. Maybe you reward yourself with a nice dinner. And maybe rewarding yourself with chocolate works for you. It doesn't work for me. I literally have a bowl of chocolate right there and I don't have a lot of self-control when it comes to chocolate. But if it's something that I have to go out and do, and I can't just automatically reach and grab chocolate from my bowl, it kind of makes it also more special. And when I'm doing the thing, I'm keeping in mind, this is because I did this. This is because I actually stuck with it, hit my goal by my deadline. So every time I wear that sweater, or every time I look at my nails, or every time I remember that nice meal with my cousin, I think this is because I stay dedicated to my craft and I allow myself to feel the pride in that, because you should be proud of writing those words. You should be proud of hitting your goals and hitting your deadlines, and you should celebrate every win. And it doesn't have to be the big milestone of you only celebrate when you finish your book. When you hit 50,000, when you hit 10,000, when you hit 20,000, celebrate. And maybe you're in the middle between goals, you're feeling kind of discouraged. Set a nice goal for your next milestone. To be honest, going out to Longhorn was supposed to be my finish the book reward, but I felt like I needed a little bit more of a push to kind of get further along in my story. So I set that as my 50,000 reward. And I wrote 3,000 words in one day to hit 50,000 so we could go out to eat. So even if you have a nice big celebration for the halfway mark, that's okay. Sometimes you need a little bit more of a like higher powered reward to kind of keep me going. And that's okay. Those are my tips. Those are the things that I'm going to be implementing in 2025 to have a more successful writing year and to be more intentional about my writing, my productivity, my goals, my deadlines, my routines, my habits, and celebrating myself to kind of keep that self-esteem up and that excitement up so we can move forward and be our most productive selves yet. Thank you guys so much for watching. Is there anything that you think you will find yourself doing in 2025? Whether that be making a more inspirational space, or you're going to be better about setting goals and deadlines for yourself, or maybe you're going to establish a new writing routine? I'm curious to know. And some of these things might be things you're doing already, but 2025 is all about being purposeful for me. Not just, okay, it's Sunday, I gotta sit down and do my social media. It's Sunday. I need to plan out my content so I can have a beautiful Instagram feed and grow and, continue to post about my books so they grow and find new readers. Kind of just being purposeful with everything I do while also doing it in a manageable and achievable way so I can remain consistent throughout the entirety of 2025. That's the goal. I really don't want to set I gotta write 80,000 words in a month goal and then find myself burnt out by November. I really want this year to be productive while also being fun and kind of going back to my roots a little bit. Like I said, I'm going to be having videos coming soon about my new routines I'm going to be trying, those challenge videos, those outlining videos, those are all coming. So be sure you're subscribed and don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. And like I said, comment down below, what is one thing that you're going to be doing in 2025 that is going to lead to a better writing year for you? What is one thing you're going to be purposeful about this year that you believe will lead to a better writing year? I'm curious because maybe I could find inspiration from you as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Wish me luck. I am getting my wisdom teeth out tomorrow. By the time you're seeing this video, they're already out. I am pre-recording this video because I did not want to record with puppy face. We shall see how it goes. So I guess if you wish me luck, it's already happened. But you could still wish me luck. It's like a past, you're wishing past me luck. The video you're watching right now, that's the me you're seeing. That's the me you're wishing luck. This person. Not the person who's reading your comments, but the person in this video. I don't know what I'm saying. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Sarah Sutton. I'm an indie author of 11 sweet romance books, soon to be 12. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!